Hey there, fancy friends, it's Oliver, and in this video we will have a look at a post-World War I dagger fighting method for self-defense in the street from Poland. As you wish, we presented you first the Polish walking cane method for self-defense, and now it's time for the knife in an ice pick or dagger grip. For some of you, it might sound weird to use a dagger in a self-defense situation. For some of you, it's obvious, and some of you will say, just use a 9mm. And guess what? The author would agree with you. In his opinion, pistols for self-defense should have a minimum caliber of 7.65. But anyway, the interesting part of this knife method is the dagger grip. We know about French, Italian and Spanish knife methods from the late 19th century and early 20th century, also tough for street use, that clearly focus a regular knife grip. But coming right out of the First World War, the military dagger use seems to be more easy to approach than the knife of the civil people. As for the walking stick, I made a translation for the dagger part as well with some help of a native speaker. You will find the link in the description below, but now let's have a look. Because the book talks about large knives, I choose the Bowie today because this is a large knife and it's quite shiny and big, so you could see it good in the video. But in fact, they are mostly talking about daggers, and daggers have two edges or none. And the main position of the dagger should be in a dagger grip, so in an ice pick grip. And if we just have a single-edged knife, I don't know if he would like it like this or like that. Potato, potato. Yeah? So just keep an eye on it, point down. So we have, in fact, just 4 attacking angles. So the first one would be the outside, into the neck, from the outside into the belly, lower line into the belly from the right. And then you could choose from the right side, the inside side. It could be the neck or it could be the heart, but then you have to step from above where the rib cage doesn't matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These are your 4 angles. So it's more like, or it's less like medieval dagger play. It's more like very close here, 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 and there. So you have 4 attacks, and at the end he talks about what happened if the attacker has the wrong grip. So he uses this knife as like a kitchen knife, and then we don't have to fear anger, because he mostly could just attack from here, because this is not usual, this either, and this is totally weird for people who don't fight hard with a knife. So greetings go out to all the Filipinos, but mostly if there is an attacker with a knife like this, it's from underneath, so you mostly know where it's coming from. And this is a good thing when he has to deal with the one use this position, even if it has shorter range. If it comes to parrying, it's more or less that easy, but in fact you could use something like a scarf, a jacket, or probably a hat or something else. If you could wind it around your arm, so it's more safe if there is blade contact, and it's also not that hard on the block. And an advice if you are unarmed against an attacker with a knife, but of course you can do it with a knife too, is just throwing it into the face or something, and then it maybe helps you by rushing in. A second advice from the unarmed position, when we are here in a battle-ready-like stance, is the toe kick. So from the Savate chapter of the book, just raise the knee. If it's a rear knee or it's a front knee, it depends on the distance, and then flip it up into the in the lower belly or where it hurts, you know. But in fact, the real play with the dagger is, beside all that, only focus on the important part. When it comes to the defenses, it's relatively easy because we have those 4 angles and we have 4 parries which are more or less obvious. So we parry everything coming from to our non-weapon side with the non-weapon hand, like here, and everything coming to our weapon side with the weapon hand. Yeah? So you do not have to think about crossing arms. It's just here, 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 and here. So bite your box, left arm for left attacks, right arm for the attacks to the right side. It depends a little bit on how far you have to go. So the images show, in fact, a relatively close block, but you see this is a large knife and I have to throw that out a little bit more. Same thing on the lower side. So if he's here, I have to go more. So you see this is very close. Yeah? And same on the weapon side. Yeah? There is more or less not the outside, but it comes here straight more or less, and I come straight again. So we are not focusing on arcs from the outside. Same on the lower side. It's here. Yeah? And you have to be aware of the length of the knife. The last advice is when to repost. I know reposts are sometimes problematic in fight with the knife because it's fast and it's close and you have a left hand, but he also did not talk about punching with the left because focus on the shiny part. That means if he would attack my outside and I block here, he would have to put back the arm for a next angle, and this is the best timing for me to get again inside with an attack. You see this repost also closed the line, but in fact, once again inside, we are here and he can't just do this, he has to put that in because of reasons I told you before. And when he does this, I took my advantage and I have a little bit more of time. Not with that big ones, but remember you could have smaller ones, and if there would be a smaller one, once again, and we are not blocking here, but we are blocking here, then in fact my arm is really, really close. And when he puts that away, I just have to do something because I am here and I can go forward and he has to put the weapon back. It's hard. We tried that in sparring. It's hard and it's more or less a kind of everything or nothing. Yeah? It's kind of what he told us about the trenches. There's a knife and there's a man, and it's not like dueling in front of us. It's just he goes to me, I go to him, and somewhere someone puts the knife everywhere. So a little bit of fancier in 2 cases. When he attacks my left side, it's the same. So when he puts that back, I am more safe to come in here. And if you are a better fencer, which he told us about, but then you do not need that book because you are a good fencer. Yeah, of course, you can do this parry and attack in the same moment. But this book is, according to the author, for people who don't have the time to go and train martial arts for real. So he wants just to block the attack, and when the danger is gone, go forwards. So you can more be sure that, yeah, the point goes backwards and not forwards in that moment. But again, it's risky. It's not a very complex method and far from fencing approaches, unlike the method of Emile André, which was taught in his book 20 years earlier. Beside the note of trench fighting, the ice pick grip could be also influenced by the same reason as we could think about from a time when daggers were also more popular, as we've seen it in fight books from the Renaissance. The aspect of thick clothing, just a small cut, could not get through. And if we think about Polish winters and remember that time Poland was more in the east, then it sounds reasonable. What's your opinion on that topic? Write me a comment. I hope you like our trip through Polish self-defense advisors. We still have interesting stuff to spot on, so see ya in the next video.